I'm doing political work. Mr. Speaker, there were a lot of complaints from the communities that their work and project was done, that was given is not done. That's first one. And I will left a couple for my friend Ronald to deal with Region One. Mr. Speaker,
Point of order.
Honorable member, the honorable member, Mr. Shearer, is on a point of order.
House was recipient from the then Vice President, Mr. Ali Koch, of the letters of dismissal and termination of 1,972. It is in the Parliament record, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Deonarine, the Honorable Minister has established what the fact is. And I think we have been down that road before during budget debate. So you stand corrected.
sir, and I'll be happy. I'm so guided, but I'll be happy if the proof can be provided. I'll be happy. Sir, cash grant. Sir, under our government, the AP and UFC government, the cash grant was replaced by what we call the 5Bs program that benefited directly the children of this country, sir. That's one other clarification. The other clarification, sir, I want to make is that the internet service were done in 72 communities, sir, where all was abandoned by this government, sir. Those are the clarification I want to make. Sir, it is my duty today to address this House and the people of Guyana on Budget 2025 allocations for some critical sectors that underpin our nation's development and natural resources management, namely forestry, Guyana Geology and Mines Commissions, and the Environmental Protection Agencies. While these sectors hold immense potential, they are plagued by management issues, inadequate funding, environmental and insufficient oversight, sir. These weaknesses hindered sustainable development and deprived the people of Guyana of full benefit of their natural wealth. Today, Mr. Speaker, we are still awaiting the resumption of the Parliamentary Sectoral Committee on Natural Resources, where we have meaningful discussion with companies like Exxon and agencies like EPA. Sir, we have to do this in this National Assembly. It is our obligation to the National Assembly to ensure that companies that are working in our country, that we can examine, scrutinize, and work with them to ensure that all is going well, sir. As we analyze the government budget proposal, there were several gaps existed, but I will focus my attention on the recommendation I made over the years, right in this House. The implementation as we prepare to take back government, sir. In 2020, I spoke about programs where we secured 800,000 hectares that were given to friends of the PP government that was redistributed to the Guyanese people so that the government, so when the government wants to talk ill, advise, I want to make a political statement that the AP and UFC closed by Shanling and Barama companies, sir. The facts need to be checked because what we try to do, sir, is to make the playing field level. We were not allowing one company to take over the entire forestry sector, sir. What we have done is that the Barama company, they were not paying the prescribed royalties as the others were doing, sir. So we had to change that to make the playing field leveled. Sir, I spoke about transparency, where disclosure of information was made public on the GFC website. Recently, sir, I've checked and cannot access information on the website. That was like 2 weeks ago. Sir, we have set up the GYEITI Secretariat to re-emphasize our commitment to transparency, governance. Today, all these are failing. Despite this, sir, only 2.1 million was budgeted. Are we serious about transparency? It seems not, Mr. Speaker. We have strengthened interagency collaboration, where most of the interior roads were maintained by the GGMC fund. This will be a continuation program and even made better by start looking at aliphatic materials to pave these roads. It will enhance connectivity between communities and foster faster and greater productivity. So when the government wants to mislead the nation that the AP and UFC government done nothing for the interior roads, they need to fact check the records, sir. We will bridge those rivers that uses pontoons across Kwakwani, Shirima, Kurpakari, and Butakari, sir. It is time that we start to think how we connect these communities easily, sir. These are the major river crossings that risk lives of our people and slow productivity, sir. We have witnessed recently that the GDF truck went overboard. Luckily, sir, there were no serious injuries. It must be noted, sir, it was under our government that communities like Letem, Aichuni, Kwakwani seen paved road for the first time without the oil money, sir. In 2021, sir, in the budget 2021, speech paragraph 4.30, it was mentioned that the Guyana Forestry Commission will be self-sufficient. Sir, in the same year, it was contracted by 7.4% and export by 8.6%. We saw on the 2024 that is grew by 4.7%, 4.5%. And that because, sir, because of two factors. One, it is the construction sector that receiving a big chunk of the budget, over 209 billion in this 2025 budget, and a new allocation of logging concessions, sir. So these are the issues that it contribute. What we are not looking at is the policy that really can drive the sector. And if you look overall, sir, we are producing about 450,000 plus cubic meter of logs per year. We're entitled to cut over 1 million cubic meters, sir. We are struggling to meet 50% of that. Right? Mr. Speaker, well, I can't do the other 50%, to be honest with you. Mr. Speaker, the GFC and all those involved in the forest needs to have an opportunity to, one, improve technology, less cost access to money, increase training to access foreign markets, the creation of downstream forest products, and other forms of assistance. This is what we will do, sir. We will, as I mentioned, I recommend in 2022 that the revolving fund, it was implemented, sir, by the government, but only 11% benefited from that revolving fund, sir. The rest was disqualified because they don't have the criteria. And the purpose of that mechanism was to assist the communities and the small loggers to ensure they can access finance, sir. So that needs to be revised, not to remodel. So my honorable friend there is smiling. Yes, I know the bank is part of the criteria, but my friend there will have some recommendation to do that. Recommendation were made against, sir, as to the design and the material to use for interior roads, but nothing happened, sir. We will redesign the National Forest Inventory to benefit the stakeholders who in need, sir, because originally the design of that National Forest Inventory was to benefit the large concession holders, so that because the benefit of a National Forest Inventory would only benefit the stakeholder, but will benefit the government, and will so that the government will have an understanding as to know what are the stock that is in the forest, sir. The log export policy will revise to benefit those that are exporting. We will make a one-stop shop system to ensure that ease of doing business. The red tapes are too much, sir. Mr. Speaker, in 2018, under the AP and UFC government, amendments were made to log export policy to have a third-party license to export logs that sees the volume of the lesser used species increased. And thanks to my friend that continued that program. In 2023, sir, in 2023, I made a recommendation that the first tranche of the carbon credits money, that 25% should be given to the Armenian community. 25%, sir. So my honorable friend who was boasting just now about they receiving so much billions, you have to ask yourself the question if that's enough. Mr. Speaker, When I proposed the revolving fund, it was proposed to have $10 million to do this, sir. And therefore, that the other 450 operators could have benefited more to this recommendation, sir. I've recommended $3 million for the Guyana Forestry Commission so that will help in the operations. This would have enhanced operations, monitoring, providing proper living accommodations. Sir, I recently went to Ituni Forestation, and it's quite strange. It's quite strange. It's supposed to be a temporary forestation, sir, but it's there over 12 years. Sir, the state that these officers work under, is really ridiculous. Mr. Speaker, I went to Intabali Forestation, and only one ATV, sir, is there, sir. Therefore, that's what I recommended, $3 million to help to boost the forestry station to improve the monitoring. Sir, Mr. Speaker, the honorable member Youchad mentioned carbon credits as a milestone for his government and earns over $750 million, which was bought by Hess. No doubt, sir, no doubt. But my question to him is what happens to the remaining 70%? Where is he? Oh, he's not here, sir, sorry. My question, sir, what happened to the 70%? And to date, sir, my friend will probably in his speech mention the other remaining 70%. Because when we were examining the estimate here, I've told the honorable member, Mr. Vikram Bharat, that we need to remodel this carbon credit scheme. Because if you're paying for carbon credits, you must have an idea as to where you're buying this credit. And I think that was absent. Sir, we will ensure that there's an opt-in mechanism for the Amerindian communities and concession holders to benefit directly from the carbon credit scheme, sir. This is what we will do. Sir? Sir, and that's what gives me the skills, right? You only have skills when you consider these boards. In 2024, sir, I focus heavily on the environment. Mr. Speaker, I didn't see any major spending for the EPA to build upon what the coalition handed over with respect to its human capacity and infrastructure development, again in 2025. Well, let me put this on record, sir. And I think the honorable member Susan Rodriguez was talking about track records. Well, let me put this on record, the PPP track record. When the coalition government took over after 23 years of destructions to the EPA, it was dysfunctional. It had only 2 vehicles for inspections and monitoring, which meant that no field monitoring nor inspection occurred. No filing system of records to even know how many permits and operation existed. Mr. Speaker, unbelievably, the coalition found that agency did not even have records of numerous operations and there were over 600 expired permits for some over 15 years. That is the track record. Our track record, sir, let me go to that, because apparently my honorable friend wants to know. Within less than 3 years, sir, the EPA discovered over 2,000 projects existed, brought all permits and operation into compliance, had 8 brand new vehicles without a dime from the Treasury, with collection of over $150 million in fees owed from expired permits, which is called a back fees, sir. Built a state-of-the-art registry and filing system to manage these projects, sir. Increased staff by 20% with the engineers and scientists, which the agency was severely lacking. We have tripled the number of EPA offices from 1 to 3 by adding offices to Quarantine and Linden to ease the financial burden of inconvenience of business people having to travel to Georgetown only to conduct their businesses. Established 24/7 complaint hotline with a 24-hour response time, and develop a culture of transparency and free access to media and public, sir. This is what we have done. We will continue capacity building for this institution, sir. Mr. Speaker, the EPA had no one with a petroleum background in the oil and gas sector when we took over. We had to quickly build capacity to perform adequate monitoring and oversight of the oil and gas operation with a $1 million We and the World Bank developed a plan to build a 36-member oil and gas unit to highly specialized skills and experience for 24/7 on-site presence on the drill ships, sir, and the FPSOs to obtain credible and real-time information. After 2025 election, sir, we will continue in this trajectory, sir. That's what we will do. We will establish a study leave program to build a capacity where the EPA will sponsor students to go to universities and train with contractual obligation to the government, sir. We will do that. Sir, with flaring, we will continue to work with the oil companies to ensure that they comply with the permits and the contractual obligations. The EIAs, we will ensure that all projects that will endanger the Guyanese people are done diligently so we can avoid what you call, sir, a pay to pollute government. The PSA, you said you will renegotiate it, not me. It's you said that. Dumping of toxic waste into the ocean, sir. We will work, Mr. Speaker. We will ensure that the public people health and the environmental comes first. We will ensure that the companies the prescribed regulations, sir. Under the full coverage liability insurance, sir. And let me put this clear. The full coverage liability is equal to the insurance plus parent company guaranteeing. Sir, my friend will probably know the formula. I don't know if you know it by now. Mr. Speaker, we will ensure what is enshrined in the permits is enforced and work with Exxon to ensure that we are on common grounds. Mr. Speaker, this has brought me to the GGMC, sir. The gold mining is a critical sector for...
Before you go to that critical sector, you need an extension. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, my Honorable Chief Whip. Gold mining is a critical sector for the Guyanese economy, contributing significantly to the GDP and employment. However, for the past 4 years, sir, we have seen a steady decline in this gold production. And recommendations, as I propose, sir, we will implement stricter monitoring policies on our borders. We will implement modern technologies to assess minerals for small and medium-sized gold miners. We'll engage with women miners to ensure that they cement their place in the gold mining sectors. We will explore value-added processing. Encourage the development of local facilities to refine and process gold, adding value before export, sir. We'll offer tax break and incentive for companies investing in the downstream processing. Formalization of small-scale mining. We will provide training and technical support to small-scale miners to help them formalize their operations and comply with regulations. We will create cooperative to pool in resources and improve efficiency. Access to financing. We will establish a low-interest program or microfinance option for miners to access modern equipment and technology. We will facilitate partnership between small-scale miners and large-scale miners company to transfer knowledge and resources, sir. We will conduct resource mapping. We will expand geological surveys to identify new mining opportunities and improve planning. We will develop a national database of mineral resources. We will encourage collaboration, sir. We will partner with universities and research institutions to develop innovation in the mining techniques. We will seek information expertise to improve efficiency and sustainability. Mr. Speaker, my friend, Mr. Vikram, is saying we have done this. But yet, Mr. Speaker, I mentioned that there's a steady decline in the gold production in this country, sir. So therefore, sir, I put all these recommendations that we will do to ensure that we can improve this sector that is critical for our country's development, sir. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. And now, for the Honorable Member, Ms.